I hope you are fine today. Doing well. Very good. We will start, inshallah. Those who will miss the class, they can see the recording later. I think most of you sent me the ethics homework yesterday and today, and I'm sure that you are working hard in getting the meaning of list number 1. Okay, how are you doing in preparing and practicing for the spelling of list number 1? Are you doing well? Have you covered a lot of words? Because tomorrow is the spelling test. Very good. Do you find it difficult to study these words, to memorize them? Any difficulties? Very good. It might be difficult for some of you to some extent, but this is the nature of the IELTS. Right. So tomorrow I hope all of you or most of you will get high marks in the spelling test, inshallah. Today we will start with task 2 of the writing, task 1, sorry, of the writing. And I will show you the different types of questions in task 1. As you can see from the structure here, I tried my best to finalize the structure this way, to make it clear and easy for you to remember how to organize your information. So task 1, as I said before, is called a report. You are going to write a report. Task 2 is called an essay. An essay. There are similarities and differences between them. So we will see how to organize everyone. First, I will show you some questions of task 1 that are very common in the exam, very common. They repeat them from time to time. In the exam, there will be only one question for task 1 and only one question for task 2. Okay, so the one question of task 1 can be, it can be a line graph like this one. It has lines, see the lines here? This is called a line graph. So there will be a question and a drawing. Then you need to write a report about it. This is an example report. We will look at it later, but this is called a line graph, okay? A line graph. It can be also a table, like this one, table that includes data or elements about something. And usually the table includes or has some years, periods of time. So you need to compare and contrast between the two periods sometimes. And it has also a total, very important to look at the total of each year to get the overview sentence. And this is an example of the question here. So This is an example of a table. You will see how to answer it. It can be a bar graph. Bar graph. These are bars. It contains bars, so that's why it's called a bar graph. All right? It can be also, what's this? What are these? Pies, very good. So pie charts. Can be pie chart. Right? It can also be pie chart again. Sometimes task 1 has 2 drawings, pie chart and bar graph in one question. So some students think it's a bit confusing, but it's easy actually. We will see what's the right technique to write a report for such a question. Two drawings in one question. It can be also. It can be a process. It can be a process. The process shows the steps of doing something. Okay? Doing something. Going from left to right. So we will see what grammatical structures are highly recommended for the process. As if you remember when I talked about the passive sentences in the beginning of the course, that's what we are going to apply here. And the use of the past participle also, the past participle tense of the verb. So this is a process. The process is a bit difficult for most maybe of the students, but I will simplify it for you to make it very easy with very useful techniques, inshallah. And the last type can be a map. A map. It's not very common, but it comes sometimes. If it comes, it's easy. You just need to describe the locations of things. Where are things located? Okay, on the left, on the right, on the north, on the south. And there will be a key to show you the meaning of these. The meaning of these areas. So that will all help. So you just describe where things are located in the map. Okay. That's all about task 1. So expect one of these types. Expect one of these types in task 1 in the exam. The structure is very, very similar. I mean, in how to organize the information, it's very similar. Just few differences in the last types, maybe. Okay, so this is how it looks like. The report of task 1 includes an introduction, paragraph. As you can see, this one. It includes an overview sentence. This one. Here. So, you can separate the introduction from the overview sentence, or you can put them together as one paragraph. It's all the same, to separate or to combine them. So there is an introduction paragraph, which is one sentence. There is an overview paragraph, which is one sentence. Then these are the body paragraphs. It can be 1, 2, or 3 body paragraphs, up to you. Then the last one is the conclusion paragraph. Okay? So, introduction, overview, body, conclusion. Now let's see what to write in each one. The introduction actually is a paraphrasing of the question. Paraphrasing means, who can tell me what is paraphrasing? Yeah, you rewrite the question in other words. You rewrite something in another way, or you say it in another way, but don't copy it as it is. Don't copy it as it is. You need to make some changes in the sentence. So, the question will have one sentence. If you copy the same sentence in your introduction, you will lose marks. But if you paraphrase it, you will get good marks. So we will see how to paraphrase. We paraphrase by using synonyms and by changing word forms, some word forms. We paraphrase by using synonyms and by changing some word forms. Okay? Synonyms. Synonyms are words with the same meaning but different spelling. Synonyms are words with the same meaning but different spelling. For example, big, huge, large, show, illustrate, explain, represent. These are all synonyms. So you can have synonyms for only two words from the question sentence. You don't need to have synonyms for every word. That's wrong. And you cannot have a synonym for every word because not all words in any language have synonyms. For example, the word that, it does not have a synonym. Okay? Because it is related to the grammatical parts of the language. The word, for example, a or a, it does not have a synonym. Okay? So just take the main words, 2 or 3 main words, replace them with synonyms, as we are going to see. Another way of paraphrasing is by changing word forms. How? You know, there are 4 forms of the word. The word can be a verb, a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. That's another way. Thank you very much. Yes, you can use the passive. Excellent. If the sentence is active, just put it in the passive. That is another way. I don't want to include that way here because it might confuse some students, but yes, that is a very good idea to paraphrase. When you change it from active to passive, then you can choose 2 words and replace them by synonyms. You got my point? After you change the sentence from active to passive, just choose 2 words in the passive sentence and replace them by synonyms. So that sentence will be stronger. But you don't have to. If that confuses some students, just try to use synonyms or synonyms and word form changing. I will give you, inshallah, I will give you examples, don't worry. I will give you examples, I will train you in how to paraphrase everything. Just we will do it step by step. And here, for example, you can change the word from a noun to a verb, or the opposite, from a verb to an adjective, or the opposite. Okay? Yes, you can do that. Now, this is an example. Down here is an example. This is an example sentence of a question sentence. The line graph shows the number of smokers in 2001. This sentence is in the question. This is the paraphrasing. See how it is paraphrased? The line graph illustrates the figure of people who smoke in 2001. Actually, here you need to add D, who smoked. Please add D because it's in the past. It's a printing mistake or a typing mistake here. The line graph illustrates the figure of people who smoked in 2001. Look at the two sentences and see how the paraphrasing is done. Okay, now shows is a synonym for, illustrates is a synonym for shows. Figure is a synonym for number. Smoked, is another form of smokers, which is the noun. So from a noun to a verb. Now, if you want to change the form, you need to change the order of words and the structure of the sentence within that word. So of smokers in 2001, of people who smoked in 2001. So you need the relative pronoun here, ضمير صلة, relative pronoun who. People who smoked. So the two ways are used here, synonyms plus changing the word form. Is that clear for everyone? Great. Now, let's see the sentence here, the question sentence. Is it an active or a passive sentence? Is it an active sentence or a passive sentence? The active sentence starts with a subject, then verb, then object. I explained it, but not very deeply last time. I think I gave you an example of the subject, verb, object. It's an active sentence, very good. This is an active sentence, see? The line graph, this is the subject. Shows, this is the verb, the number of, and so on, that is the object sentence. جملة المفعول. So جملة الفاعل, verb, then جملة مفعول به. So this is an active sentence because it starts with a subject. دائما the active sentence starts with a subject. And after the subject, the verb. After the verb, the object. So you know that this is an active sentence. جملة مبني للمعلوم. Yes, Safa, that is a great sentence. That is excellent. So that is your paraphrasing. And this is what I'm going to do in the next step, inshallah. I will give you a sentence, then I will give you time to paraphrase them. But you did a great job, Safa. Thank you very much. See, look at Safa's sentence. She said the line graph illustrates the quantity of people who smoked in 2001. Okay, this is another paraphrasing. Okay, if we want to change this sentence from active to passive, what would we say? The line graph shows the number of smokers 2001. Change it to the passive. Do you know? Can you try? You start with the object, right? When you change it to the passive, you start with the object. The object is the number of smokers in 2001 I'm sure you are writing now, so it takes time. The number of smokers in 2001, or the number of smokers, is shown by the line graph. Is shown by the line graph in 2001, for example. Yeah, something like that. It should be is shown, not was shown, because you have the verb shows here in the present simple. So present active, it should be present passive. Yeah. So if you do that, change from active to passive, that is a great job. That is excellent. After you change from active to passive, use the synonyms. Use the synonyms, okay? So instead of number, you put figure. Instead of shows, you put illustrated. Instead of smokers, you put who smoked. That's it. But the easiest way is to use synonyms and change the form of some words. If you cannot change the form, use only synonyms of 2 words. That's it, and you will get good marks. Don't make it complicated, please. You are from different levels, okay, in English. So there are very, very good students here, and there are good, and there are, so don't make it a big problem. Use synonyms. If you can, use or change some forms, one form, for example. If possible, change it from active to passive. But if you know all these 3 ways, you start changing from active to passive first. First, change it from active to passive. This is the easiest way. Then change synonyms and maybe one form. Okay, that would be easier. Now, I will give you a sentence and I want you to change it. And you can use synonyms, you can use different forms, or you can change it from active to passive. I'm sorry, when I write on the screen, my pen slides, so that's why I cannot control my handwriting sometimes. The pie graph shows, just a minute. Okay, this is the question. Here the question has no period of time. It means you are going to write about it in the present simple. If you do not see a period of time, write it in the present simple, the report. If there is a period of time in the past, you should use the past tense, okay? So sometimes it's without a period of time. The pie graphs show the percentage of males and females who study in college. Now try to paraphrase it. The pie graph illustrates the rate of males and females who study in college. Very good so far. So you change illustrate and rate. That's great. That's great. Take your time. Don't be in a hurry. Take your time. We are practicing. Pie chart illustrates the percentage of males who study in college. Okay, very good, Mohammed. So you changed show into illustrate. Al-Hussein, the pie graph explains the number of men and women who study in university. Very good, Al-Hussein. Yes. Ali Ibrahim, the pie graph illustrates the percentage of men and women who study in college. Very good. Benar, the pie graph gives information about the rate of two different types of people, men and women who study in college. Great. That's great, Benar. Nasser, the percentage of males and females who study in college is illustrated by the pie charts. Excellent, Nasser. Here, Nasser changed the sentence from active to passive, and he used also synonyms. That is great, Nasser. Thank you. Oh, yes, Mohammed, we can change it to the passive. I already explained that. Yes, and see here, Nasser's sentence, he changed it from active to passive. The percentage of males and females who study in college is illustrated by the pie chart. The pie graphs illustrate the number of males and females who study in college. Here you missed one word. I think you mean the number or not the number, sorry, the rate, the figure, the proportion. These are all synonyms for the same meaning. Very good, Suhaib. The proportion of males and females who studied in college is shown by the pie graph. Excellent, Suhaib. Excellent. And the pie graph illustrates the proportion of males and females who study in college. Excellent, Tasneem. Very good. The rate of gender who study in the university is shown by the excellent Sarah. Very good. Osama, percentage of students who study in college are shown by excellent Osama, from active to passive. Mira, the percentage of males and females who study in college is shown by the excellent. The portion of males and females who studied in college is shown by the pie chart. Very good, Jinan. You just missed is here, is shown. Very good. Okay, I think all of you are doing well. All of you are doing well. Now you understand the trick and how to do it. Let's move to the second part. The second part is the overview sentence, which is in a separate paragraph after the introduction, or it can be in the same paragraph of the introduction. Okay, the tense, Haytham, how can we choose the tense? Very good. As I said, if you see a period of time in the question, then the tense should be the past. If there is no period of time, it should be present. But are you talking about the verb show? See, in almost all the questions, like here, this is a question. You will see the verb shows in most of the questions, shows. So shows here means in the present simple, because it's in front of you now. Even if there is a period of time in the past here, like 2010, 2005, they will still use the present simple here, shows. So you can say the graph illustrates. You need the S. You still need the S here. The graph illustrates. The graph explains, because it is one. The graph is one here, right? Subject is one, so you need S in the present simple. The graph means it, which is one. Okay? So if you use a synonym, it should be the graph illustrates, the graph explains with S. But if it is two pie charts, the two pie charts show the two pie charts show, because pie charts is plural, charts, not charts. It should be show. The two pie charts show the underground same passenger numbers, for example. When you paraphrase it, it will be the two pie charts explain or illustrate without S. Without S. That is the rule. When you change it to the passive, it should be what? For example, here, the graph, the under station passenger numbers in London is shown in the graph. Is shown in the graph. Why is shown, not was shown? Because here it is shows in the present simple. So the passive sentence must be also in the present simple. You can use in or by depending on the context. Yeah. I mean, if you mean the chart, in or by, both fine. Both are fine. So we are done with the introduction sentence. Now, as I said, the overview sentence is the next sentence that can be in a separate paragraph or combined with the introduction. Combined in the introduction. Let me just read this comment. Here. Yes, Mohammed, very good. That is right. By the chart or in the chart, you can say the question and the drawing must all have the same meaning. They will have the same meaning. It will not confuse you that much, actually. It will have the same meaning. We will look at examples. Don't worry, we will look at examples. Let me just start with these basics first. The overview sentence is what? It shows the trend. The trend sentence is there. You know what is a trend? The trend is something very big, something expanding a lot, something seen a lot. Okay? The most significant thing, the biggest thing in the drawing. For example, this is a trend or an overview sentence here. You start the overview sentence by saying, in general or overall, comma, it is clearly seen that there is an increase in the number of smokers, for example. In general or overall, it is clearly seen that there is an increase in the number of smokers. When do we say that? Let me show you. suppose that the topic is about car accidents. And there are males and females. If you look at this drawing here, the line graph, generally, what do you notice in the car accidents? An increase, a decrease, a stability, or a fluctuation, generally. Good, generally. Generally, there is an increase. Okay, so that is the trend. That is the trend. Without specific details, just as a general idea or an overall idea about it. What do you notice in the next one? A decrease or a decline. A decrease or a decline. What about this one? It goes up and down, up and down. A fluctuation. There is a fluctuation. And here, steady, being steady or stable, or there is a stability. Excuse my handwriting because I am facing really a difficulty to write on the screen. It looks like a first grade student handwriting. Okay, so here it shows a stability. So when you look at the question, look at the drawing first. Even before you read the question sentence, look at the drawing and see what is the biggest movement in the drawing. What is the biggest part? What is the biggest trend? Does the drawing show an increase, a fluctuation, a decrease, a decline, or something else? Then you put it in the overview sentence. Let's have another type. For example, if it is pie graph. Sources of family income. Sources of family income. where does the family get money from? This is farming. Trading. Salary. For example, what is the trend here? The trend is farming. Very good. Farming, because it takes the biggest part here. Biggest part. So farming, it is clearly seen, in general, it is clearly seen that farming is the biggest source of income in the family, or the family depends more on farming to get an income. So these are just examples of how to get the overview sentence. No, you should not mention any details, Rawan. Details will be only in the body when you analyze the data. No analysis are recommended in the introduction or overview sentence, unless they are general details, for example, like the year or the total, the average, for example. You got my point? Okay, here she was asking about, Rowan was asking about if we can put more details and examples in the introduction and overview sentence, like timing or numbers. It's not recommended, actually, and it's not the right way to put it. The details and numbers and examples will be in the body when you analyze the data. What you write in the introduction, as I say, is just paraphrase the question, and you put the year if there is a year. In the overview sentence, you put the trend in general without specific details. Just the trend in general, like here. Like here, in general, comma, it is clearly seen that there is an increase in the number of smokers. You can, if you want to add by half, for example, or by quarter, or by 50% compared with the year of 2005, for example, if there are 2 years. But if you put it like that, very general, you are in the right side. Okay, as you can see, you need spaces between paragraphs. See the spaces here? Don't put the paragraphs without spaces. At least 2 lines in between. 2 lines in between. In the introduction, as I said, you paraphrase the question. Then, if you want to put this sentence, overview sentence, with the introduction, it can be here after the full stop. You continue writing the overview sentence, yes, in general. Or you can separate the introduction paraphrasing here and the overview sentence here in another paragraph. Both ways are correct. Clear? Yes. Now, you might ask yourself, why don't we say in general there is an increase in the number of smokers and that's it? Why do we put it is clearly seen that? Remember that in the writing you need words. You need words. So try to increase the number of words as much as possible. If you add, it is clearly seen that here are 5 words will be added to your writing. Okay? So that's why. And I will teach you how to count your words very fast in the writing of task 1 and 2. How to count them very fast instead of counting word by word, which will waste your time. There is a fast way to do that. We will see that later. So we are done with introduction and overview sentence now. Shall I give you to do one practice of an overview sentence? Or everything is clear? Okay, so let's do one from here. Let's do one from here. Okay, write an overview sentence for this. It's about car accidents, okay? Car accidents of males and females. We will take just few examples from you. The topic is the same for the 4 drawings. It's car accidents. Overall, it's clearly seen that there is a variation in the number of car accidents. Very good. It is crystal clear that there is a fluctuation in the number of car accidents. Very good. Very good. Okay, that's it. That is enough, I think. Now let's move on. The body, as I said, can have 1, 2, or 3 paragraphs. And it's an analysis of the main features, only the main features. So you are not going to describe everything in the drawing, just the main features, the highest things, the lowest things, the middle things. Then you compare, you can put 2 things in one sentence in which you compare and contrast between them. So going from the highest to the lowest, or the biggest to the smallest. This is how you analyze the data in the body. You do not start with the from smallest to biggest. No, it should be from the first biggest change, then to the second biggest, to the third biggest, till you reach the smallest, as we are going to see. And you will start from general to specific. A general sentence, full stop, then specific sentence with details and examples. General, specific, details. For example, the general sentence can say, in the early morning, there is a sharp increase of passengers, full stop. Here there is no details, no numbers. You just in general say that there is a sharp increase in the number of passengers, full stop. In the next sentence, the number increases from 10 to 100 people using the train at 8 o'clock. See, there is a specific time and there is a specific number from 10 to 100. That is the specific sentence we call. So you should always start from general to specific, not the opposite, not the opposite. And we will see that in the coming examples. We will see that. What is in the conclusion? The conclusion would be a paraphrasing of the overview sentence. To make it easy, try to paraphrase the overview sentence. What you wrote in here, what you wrote in here, say it in another way in here, in the conclusion. So you paraphrase your overview sentence. Here you said in general, then here you say overall, comma, it is clearly seen that, it is obviously noticed that, or it is clearly noticed that, or it is clearly noted that. There is an increase in the number, there is a rise in the number of smokers. That's it. You just paraphrase your overview sentence in the conclusion. Say it in another way. Or sometimes you can show the highest and the lowest things, which is similar to paraphrasing the overview sentence. Is that clear? Good. Now we will look at a question and an answer, and I will ask you also to underline some keywords in it. Yeah, similarities and differences, you will talk about them within the comparison and contrast sentences. You will compare and contrast sometimes. So yes, you can include them, but not in a deep way, not in a very deep way. You just compare and contrast between information. For example, the number was, or the number is bigger than that typing. So you will use comparatives or comparative adjectives, for example, or superlative adjectives to compare and contrast. Very good question, Mariam. She is asking, do we have to use this structure for writing all reports or types of reports? Of course, yes. All task 1 questions and reports should follow this structure. You need introduction, overview sentence, body paragraphs, and conclusion. Okay? Yeah, in all. So try to remember this drawing, this structure, to make it easy for you to answer task 1. I'll give you a practice, I'll give you homework to do during the weekend, a lot of things. Whenever we finish a skill, we understand it, then you have to do a practice on it, practice test or practice writing, practice exercise, and you will send it to me to evaluate it. Okay? Let's look at this question now. This is a line graph, as I mentioned before. So before you read the question, I want you to get the overview sentence here. Think about it. What would be the overview sentence? What does it show? The trend. The trend is by looking at the drawing. Yes. A fluctuation, yes. Okay, very clear. A fluctuation. So this is what you put in your mind. In the overview sentence, I will show the trend as a fluctuation. Okay, so from the first glance, from the first look at the drawing, you can decide what is the trend for the overview sentence. Now, read the question here. The graph shows underground station passenger numbers in London. There is no specific date here. It means this is a daily routine. Daily routine. Every day people use the underground to go to work, to go, for other purposes, like for shopping, for sightseeing, for visiting relatives. So every day they use the underground. You know what is the underground, right? Very good. The metro. Yes, very good, Suhaib. Okay. As I said before, you need to write at least 150 words in 20 minutes. Now, nobody can exactly write 150. If you write between 140 to 160 or 170, 180, that is very reasonable. That is fine. If you write less than 140, you might lose marks. Like if you write 120 words, 130, you will lose marks. But if you write 160, 170, 180, you will not lose marks, but you will not get more marks. So at least you'll be in the safe side. So how to write or how to control the number of words, we will see that. They count it, they have their own technique, which is similar to my technique that I will show you. I will show you how to count them in a fast way. I will show you later, inshallah. Now I want you to read this model answer here, model report. It has an introduction, 2 body paragraphs, a conclusion. Here in the drawing, you can see the timing from 6 a.m. till 22 p.m. What is 22 p.m.? What time is it? 10 p.m. Very good. And here you can see the number of passengers, number of people, from 0 to 450. Okay? Read the report, underline keywords. For example, increase, decrease, fluctuation, whatever. Underline the keywords, then we will discuss. So read it silently. Okay, let's see the keywords first. In the first paragraph, keywords, illustrates, overall, yes, fluctuation, yes, good. Second, here you see that the introduction and overview sentence are in one paragraph. As I said, you can put them in one paragraph or separate them. Both are correct, okay? Second paragraph. Sharp increase. Very good. Also the busiest. Now this is used for comparison. The busiest. What kind of word is the busiest? Where it comes from? The busiest. It comes from busy. Very good. Busy. Busy, busier than the busiest. So this is a superlative of busy. Superlative. You know, there is an adjective, comparative, superlative. Busy, busier than the busiest. Big, bigger than the biggest. Okay, so this is the superlative. That means there's no other busy time more than this. Okay, it's not مفعول مطلق, we call it صيغة التفضيل العليا أو صفة التفضيل العليا. صفة المقارنة, صفة التفضيل العليا. Adjective, comparative, superlative. You studied these, right? Yeah. So you need to know the right form of the word, because there are short adjectives in which we add er and est, and there are long adjectives like beautiful, expensive, in which we will add more than and the most. Yeah, you should know all that. Okay, more keywords. More keywords. Drop quickly. Yes. Rises. Less than. Very good. Less than. Under. A plateau of also is a keyword here. A plateau of, like little stability. Okay, in the next one, decline, numbers decline. Less than, again. Rapid rise. Rapid means fast. Slight increase. Significantly. Also fall significantly. Fall, go down. Very good. A peak of. What is a peak? The top, the highest point, yeah, the top. Tailing off. Ending, tailing off. The last paragraph. In general, shows most crowded. Very good. So this is an example of a report. Okay. If the question shows a daily routine, or a routine in general. The routine can be daily or it can be weekly or monthly or every year. So these are routines that happen regularly, for example, or every day, every week, every month. We use the present simple. We use the present simple. Okay. Yeah, it's a bit short, but you can write a longer one, longer than this. This is just an example to show you. We will move now to look at a table. Another question. So, as I said, in the table, there are elements or information about something, and there are periods of time also, and a total. So the total is very important because you need it for the overview sentence. Here there is no lines, but you need the total. Now, which year's total is more than the other? So from the first look, you can see that the biggest total is in 2001. Now let's look at the question. The table shows the monthly expenditure of an average Australian family in 1991 and 2001. The monthly expenditure of an average Australian family. So here you will use the past tense. Very good, Sarah. Why? Because the years are in the past. So in the report, you will use the past tense. Very important to use it correctly. Regular or irregular verbs, it makes a difference. Right. Now, before we read the report, let's look at the elements first. If somebody does not understand the meaning of expenditure, he can read these: food, electricity and water, clothing, housing, transport, other goods and services. So you will understand that expenditure means the money spent on these materials, for example, every month in the 2 years, every month in the 2 years. Yes. So let's think of some. Now let's choose, for example, 3 words from here, from the question, and replace them with synonyms. Shows, expenditure, monthly, for example. Okay, for shows, we can say synonyms for shows: illustrates, presents, explains, gives information about. We will also study these synonyms later. Keywords for task 1. Monthly, per month, every month, a month. You can also say a month. Expenditure, expenses, spending, consumption, consuming, outlay, different words, okay? So that's enough if you want to use synonyms. You can change the sentence from active to passive if you want also, or you can change one word form. Okay. So here's the money in Australian dollars. The money in Australian dollars. Again here, this is a longer report that we have here with introduction and overview sentence, 2 body paragraphs, conclusion. Okay? Read it and underline the keywords. Okay. Keywords. In the first paragraph, we have shows, we have changes, we have spending, in general, high, than, significant, respectively. Yes. Okay, the word household here means family. Household means family. So it's a synonym. Okay? So the table shows changes in the spending patterns of an average Australian household between 1991 and 2001. Full stop. That's the paraphrasing of the question. Overview sentence says, in general, Australian household spending was high in 2001 than in 1991. But the difference was not significant. If you have a full stop here, that is enough. That is enough. No need for more details. As I said, it should be general. But the writer here wanted to make it or to expand it here. Okay, but the difference was not significant. It was not a big difference between the two. And see, if you want to put details, numbers or money, it should be between brackets. This is the first bracket. Brackets. How much was it? And how much was it, respectively? But that might confuse you. He's just putting it to show that the difference was not that much. Okay? But that's not needed, actually. That's not needed. So you can end the sentence here after 1991. Yeah, it might be to support your point for the reader. The second paragraph. The amount of dramatic increase. Dramatic means big, okay? Less obvious, yet in terms of. At the same time. Minor increase, a minor increase, a small increase. The amount of, again, spent, rose slightly. Yes. See the verbs here in the past, spent, rose, fell, respectively. What is respectively here? One following the other. Respectively means one following the other. Do you understand it? If you mention two things that happen in 2 years, from 155 to 160, 1991, 2001, the same. 1991, 2001, respectively, means here you don't need to mention the years again because you have already mentioned them here in your introduction. So the reader will understand that the first number refers to the first year, the second number refers to the second year. First year, second year, respectively, على التوالي, بشكل متتالي. So no need to repeat the years again in every sentence. You just use respectively at the end of the sentence, and the reader will understand your meaning. So when you talk about changes in something in 2 years, do you understand? So no need to mention the years in every sentence. It's enough to mention it in the introduction, or maybe 2 times, respectively. It should be the last word. more keywords in the next paragraph. Decrease. Samah, I will come to your question. Sorry, because sometimes the questions go up. I don't see them. It's good to remind me. So you can put your question again, Samah. I will come to it, inshallah. Decrease. However, spent. Fill from, yes, fill from. Similarly, 1/3. Dropped from, dropped. This on. Okay. Look at 1/3. 1/3 means 1/3. 1/5 means 1/5, 1/4, 1/4. You are also going to use numbers and fractions in your report, numbers and fractions. So we will see how to do that. What was your questions? Can you copy your questions again, Samah? Because I think they are up. So I get lost trying to find them. Just put them again. Okay, Nasser's question, what synonym can we use for respectively? You can say one following the other, or one following the other. In the two mentioned years, for example, or in the mentioned period, in the given period. The last paragraph shows the conclusion. It seems. This is how to start it. You can also say it seems, or in conclusion, or in brief, all together. The two biggest by comparison more than half spent or spent little, also spending. The writer here had 188 words, which is more than enough. As I said, you can make the conclusion very simple by paraphrasing the overview sentence in the conclusion. Paraphrase or say the overview sentence in another way. So Pay attention to the verb tenses and try to avoid spelling mistakes in the tenses and in the other words also, because they are accounted. If you have a lot of spelling mistakes, you will lose marks. Okay? This is another example of task 1 report. This is a bar graph. This will be a homework. What you have to do here is to look at the drawing. But first of all, look at the topic here. The question sentence should be here in the exam. Then above the drawing, you will see the title or heading, which is similar to the question sentence. So this is about top 10 date producing countries. Top 10 date producing countries. The countries that produce date. The countries that produce date. Okay? Is Oman one of these countries? Does Oman produce the highest amount of date? No, it does not. See, this is Oman. And this is the annual production in tons. So it produces about 200,000 tons in 2001, this year. Okay. What is the trend here? If I want you to get a trend, what is the trend? The trend is Egypt. Very good. So you will look at the highest. The trend is Egypt. Yes. In the trend as well, you can put the highest and the lowest. So it's either the highest only or the highest and the lowest in the trend. It's fine. So what you have to do at home is to write short answers to these questions. Short answers from the drawing. In the exam, you will not see these questions. No. In task 1, there are no questions like these. You have to write a report. But this exercise will help you in how to organize your information when you come to write a report later on. So this question, for example, if you answer this question, it will help you to paraphrase the introduction. Okay? And these 2 questions here, the answer will help you to write the overview sentence. Then here, the body. Then here, the conclusion, etc. Now you don't write a report, you just answer these questions at home. Answer them, then send it to me by WhatsApp. Tonight or tomorrow, okay? But before class, just short answers. This is an example of pie chart here. And it's about sources of electricity in the US in 1970 and 1984. 1970 and 1984. What is the trend here? What is the trend? Coal. Coal was the biggest source of power, of electricity in the US. See? The biggest part. So that is the trend that you have to put in the overview sentence. All right? That is the trend. Now, we will do an exercise here. about this question. Here we have different choices. Summary, 1970, the two pie charts illustrate in contrast, however, the second most important in general. So I will number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Read this report that has an introduction, body, conclusion, and put the numbers of the choices. For example, number 3, number 5, number 7. Okay? That's not the right answer. I'm just giving you examples. Read it and fill in the sentences. Okay. What is the first one? Number 3. The second space. Number 7. Very good. Yes. See, the overview sentence here says, in general, coal was the most important source of electrical power in both years, although nuclear power grew in importance. So that was the trend. The next one is number 2. In 1970, okay? And the next one is number 6. Very good. Number 6. Here you can see that we started from the biggest, the most important source, then the second most important source, then the third most important source. So as I say, you analyze the data in the body from the biggest to the lowest, from the highest to the lowest. Okay? The next one is number 5. However, okay, by 1984, this had declined to just 12.3%. The next one, number 4, in contrast. Yes. And the last one is number 1, in summary. Okay, see, look at this sentence again in summary. More electricity was produced from coal and nuclear energy, while these declined in importance. the highest and the lowest. The highest and the lowest. Or it's a paraphrasing of the overview sentence. Okay. Now, you remember when I told you to go from general to specific? I will show you an example here that goes from general to specific. In the body. Let's start with this one first. The busiest time of the day is in the morning. This is a general sentence. Okay, there is no numbers, no details. Then there is a sharp increase between 6 and 8 with 400 people using station at 8 o'clock. This is a specific sentence. Okay. After this, the numbers drop quickly. General sentence. To less than 200, specific sentence. So sometimes in the same sentence, you can have general and specific in one sentence, but you should start with general. What I mean here is when you start your body, you should start with a general sentence, not a specific sentence. And the general sentence, like here, has no details, no numbers. See? In the specific sentence, you mention the details and numbers. Look at these two sentences again. You got what I mean? This is part of the organization, part of your organization. Is it clear? Okay. Somebody was asking about page 5 and 6. I don't know what he needs in there. Page 5, you mean this one? Who is that student? Sami. I think she's a girl. You got it? Okay. This will be a spelling tomorrow, inshallah. And this is about the affixes. It's only in the first lecture. You can listen to the first lecture again. I'm sure you will understand it very well. All right. Now go to page 18. Go to page 18. Okay, she needed the answers. Okay, sorry. She needed the answers for the gaps, but she got them now. Okay, good, in that exercise. Go to page 18. We will learn more keywords about task 1, more keywords. And I will show you which words you will need to memorize, not to get confused. Synonyms here are shown in the tables. We have table 1, table 2, table 3, table 4. In table 1, we have words as synonyms when the line or when the movement goes up. In table number 2, words when the movement goes down. In table number 3 is words for the movement when it goes, when it has no change, when it stays stable. And here I want you to draw this movement that shows a fluctuation. Draw it by a pen in your book. So we are going to learn some verbs and nouns. Verbs and nouns. Sometimes you would use the verb tense, the verb form, sometimes the noun form when you write. You don't only use the verb form in all your sentences. That will sound very weak and very repetitive. Okay? So, from the verbs of rise here in the first table, it's enough to memorize 3 synonyms: rise, increase, grow. That's enough. Don't memorize all of the synonyms. They will confuse you. So rise, increase, grow. That's enough. So in one sentence, you would use rise. In another sentence, increase. In another sentence, grow. If the movement is the same. When can you repeat, or how many times can you repeat the same verb? Maximum 2 times. Means in 2 sentences, you can repeat the verb increase. The number of students increases between these 2 months or years. In another sentence, the students' number increased from 2. But it's always better to use a synonym when you want to repeat the same meaning with another verb. So you can say in the first sentence, the number of students increases. In another sentence, you can say the student number rises or grows instead of increases. Sometimes there are students who will repeat the same word for 3 and 4 times. The number of students increases, the number of students increases. That is a repetition and you will lose marks. So try to use a synonym if you have the same meaning. So sometimes the verb form and sometimes the noun form. So it's enough to know there is a rise, an increase, a growth. These 3 synonyms. So you will not always use the verb in the sentence, but sometimes you will use the noun. Okay, I will show you how. I'll give you examples. look at these two sentences here. In the first sentence, the number of students rises. What is rises here? Noun or verb? It's a verb. Very good. In the second sentence, there is a rise in the number of students. A rise here is a noun. Very good. Another word. The number of students grows in 2000. Sorry. Here it should be past. Should be past. So the past of rise is rose. Rose. Okay. The number of students rose as a past. And here it should be there was a rise. Okay, there was a rise. If it is present, it should be rises and there is a rise. Okay, so this shows you how to use the noun sometimes and the verb in other times. You got the point? You need to vary in using different forms. Different forms. So it's the same with the other words in the tables. In this table, for example, you will need fall, decline, decrease. That's enough. There is a fall, a decline, a decrease. That's enough. In this one, if there is no change, you can say the number of students levels out, means does not change, or does not change, or remain stable, or remain steady, the same. There is a leveling out in the number. There is no change in the number. There is a stability in the number. All with the same meaning. So don't memorize every word in these tables. That will confuse you. 3 from each table, 3 verbs, 3 nouns is enough. It's enough. The last one, we have all 3 here. Fluctuate, go up and down, keep moving, same meaning. There is a fluctuation, there is a variation, there is a change. Same meaning. Okay? So you need to study these words and memorize them. Here we have synonyms for the verb show. And also here, it's enough to know 4 of them. Illustrate, represent, explain, give information about. That's enough. Illustrate, represent, explain, give information about. In page 26, here are examples of bar graphs, questions, and in the next page, the answers. You can also have a look at them, the answers for the 2 questions. And in page 28, an example of question of a pie chart and model answer also. This one, we will explain it tomorrow, 2 drawings and the process. So tomorrow we will study the 2 drawings and the process. what I gave you is this one. This is the homework for tomorrow. Tomorrow is the dictation, yeah, the spelling. Tomorrow will be the spelling test. Yeah, the process is the most difficult, but I will make it easy for you, inshallah. That's why I left it till the end. Tomorrow will be, tomorrow we'll continue writing, yes, of course. I cannot give you the writing in one day. I have to give you time to understand, then to do homework on it. Then we continue. I teach you keywords, some grammar. So tomorrow we'll do some grammar on task 1. Here, page 19. We'll do it together tomorrow. Don't do it at home. And we will do also another grammar, page 24. Okay, and we will look at how to use numbers after we finish the spelling. Okay, and also next week we have Sunday to continue task 1 and start task 2. Then Monday we will finish task 2, inshallah, because task 2 is easy. It has one structure. It's easier than task 1. So Monday we'll finish task 2. Tuesday we will start the reading, techniques and practice test. And Wednesday, the last day in the next week, we will do the listening, techniques and practice. Now, are you studying the listening words? Have you started? Every day 20 words, right? No, the weekend we will not study. The study is from Sunday to Wednesday only. The other days I give you, a break to do homework at home. The weekend will be full of work. You will do a lot of work at home, which will be necessary for next week. Okay? Shall I explain how to count the number of words before we finish? That will be the last thing. Shall I give you more homework for tomorrow, or that's enough? The homework for tomorrow is this one. And the words, the listening words, you will continue studying. Preparing for the spelling also. That's enough. Okay, in the weekend I will give you more work, inshallah. Now look at this page 27. Let's take this report, for example. To count the words very fast, look at the first line, middle line, and the first line from here. Okay, so first line from the first paragraph, first line from a middle paragraph, first line from the last paragraph, and see how many words do you have. Count them very fast. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 15, 13, and 16. The average is about, let's say, 12 words or 13 words. So 13 by the number of lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 130. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's more than 150 words. So very fast. Check how many words are in the first line, in a middle line, in the last paragraph, first line. Is that clear? Yes. Okay, guys, that's the end of today's lesson. We will meet tomorrow, inshallah. Try to join very early tomorrow. I mean, not to lose any 5 minutes or 2 minutes. Sometimes it happens. It's out of your hands, I know, because of the net, but try your best. Okay? So we will meet tomorrow online, inshallah. Wish you all the best. Allah yatqabbal minkum, inshallah. Have a nice gathering with your family members and enjoy your evening time. Thank you very much. I will send you the recording maybe at 9:30 or 10 o'clock.